Before we begin the next Let's Play, I feel it is important to share some history on this game and why it's so important to me. Paper Mario is a really important game to me, and I have a lot of history with the game, so I feel like I need to have some sort of explanation as to why this game is so important to me. When I was born with a couple different learning disabilities, including A.D.D, which made it extremely hard for me to read and write. I hated reading in class, and I had a difficult time spelling like the simplest words. When my classmates were all reading books that were meant for their age, and even for kids older than themselves, I was left reading books for people that were half my age. In fact, a lot of other kids mocked me for it, and that didn't help either. I remember one time I was in class, and I asked a student how to spell the word turtle, and they spelled it out for me, but after every letter they laughed and giggled, and then when they were done, they laughed at me. And to this day, I don't know if they actually told me how to spell it right, or if they made me spell something stupid or something dirty instead. I can't remember. And I can't even remember how they spelled the word. It was that bad. I can't remember how words were spelled or anything, or how to read them. So I just had to hope that they made me spell the right thing. And because of all these things, I learned to hate reading. I hated learning how to read. I hated reading books. I hated anything that forced me to read. But in 2001, Paper Mario was released, and I first remember playing the game in a Target, and I fell in love with it on the spot. And I don't remember if my parents bought it for me as a gift, or if they bought it, or if I saved up my money and bought it. But I remember I bought it almost immediately after it came out, and I brought it home. And at first I had no trouble playing the game. It was really fun, even if I skipped almost all of the dialogue, but I soon got stuck, and I had no idea how to advance the game. I tried multiple different things, and I just couldn't figure it out. So eventually, I went to school, and I asked someone who I knew had owned the game, and he told me I need to use Cooper's special ability, and I was like, special ability? I had no idea Cooper had a special ability, and I learned that it was because I had skipped the text box that told me that your partners had special abilities. And it was at that point I realized I was going to have to read the entire game if I wanted to beat it. So I completely restarted my file, and I started playing the game again, and I read every text box I could. And at first, I could barely understand what the game was saying. Like, I got the main point of the text boxes, but I still couldn't understand it. But the more I played the game, the better I got at it, and the better I got at reading. At the time also, my school had finally put me in help classes that were helping me learn how to read. So my reading improved along with the classes, and also when I played the game, I learned how to read better. I grew along with the game, and it helped a lot with the classes too. By the time I beat the game, I loved reading each piece of text. Every word that each character said was funny and enjoyable, and I loved hearing them. And I would play the game over and over again, and each time I understood the game a little bit better, and I understood the text a little bit better. I remember one time my dad even commented about how he thought the game was helping me learn to enjoy reading, as well as helping me learn how to do it. By the time I was in the 5th grade, I had beaten the game about 3 times, and I was no longer 2 years behind my peers when it came to reading, but 2 years ahead of them. I started to read comic books and short stories in my spare time, and I learned to love reading. I hadn't learned to read long books yet, but it wouldn't be too long until I actually learned how to do that as well. And I was overjoyed when I learned that the game was going to have a sequel, but that's a story for another time. I know I usually save my thanks for the ending credits, but I really want to thank some people right now. I want to thank Nintendo and Intelligent Systems for making such a wonderful game, and I want to thank Toshikaka Marumatsu. I want to thank Takihiro Oji, and Hironobu Suzuki. I'm sorry if I horribly murdered those names, for directing the game. And I also want to thank Kumiko Takade and Koru Aki. My Japanese has gone down really far, if you can't tell. I used to be able to read these names off the spot, but now I can't. But they wrote the script. And I want to thank everyone for whoever worked on this game. They gave me one of the most important games of my childhood, and they helped me learn how to read. And I want to say thank you again. And I hope everyone enjoys this Let's Play as much as I've come to enjoy this game, because this game just means the world to me, and it helped me get through one of the hardest points in my childhood. And so, once again, I just want to say thank you, and I hope all of you enjoy the game.